Okay. So with that, we'll begin the meeting. I'll go ahead and share my screen. Great. All right. Now that we have, yes, we have quorum based on the attendance. So we'll go ahead and begin with moving on to the approval of the agenda. There were some quick amendments I wanted to make. So I will go ahead and propose those friendly amendments. And if there are no objections, we will go ahead and add them. So one of the first things I wanted to mention was we have our elections director, Kimia Kamal, who will be providing a brief presentation on the election season for this upcoming academic year. So that will start taking place in the spring quarter. So I would like to give her some time to present on that as we get ready for election season. Um, Additionally, another quick amendment I wanted to make was the ASUCLA Board of Directors will be presenting on a referendum which has already been put on the agenda, but the presentation material was just provided to me. And the last of the amendments that I wanted to make was our VP of External Affairs, Jack Fung, has some conference takeaways that he would like to present on, and the presentation materials were also just provided to me. So um, if there are no objections, I can go ahead and add these to the agenda. Okay. So with no objections, we'll go ahead and just go ahead and get those amended to the agenda. We will need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I motion to approve the agenda.
Great. We have a motion. Do we have a second? All right. Motioned and seconded. All those in favor of approving the agenda as presented, please indicate by raising your hand. All right. Two in person, 9, 10, 11. All right. 12 online. Okay. Please lower your hands. And then those that are against approving the agenda as presented, please indicate. Okay. And then those that wish to abstain. Okay. With that, the motion passes and the agenda is approved. We will go ahead and move on to the approval of the minutes. As you can see, those in the link, that is the link to the minutes from the previous GSA forum from February 5th. We will need a motion to approve the minutes. Okay, we have a motion. Motioned and seconded. All those in favor of approving the minutes as presented, please indicate by raising your hand. Two in person. And 9 or 8 online. Okay. Please lower your hands. Those against approving the minutes as presented, please indicate. Okay. And then those that wish to abstain. Okay. With that, the motion passes and the minutes are approved. We will go ahead and move on to public comment from GSA general membership if there is any, whether that be on Zoom or in person. Okay. I'll give a few more seconds in case someone is on Zoom. Do we have anything? Okay. Then without public comment for this meeting from GSA general membership, we will go ahead and move on. Do we have any updates on funding? No? Okay, great. Then we will go ahead and move on to our special presentation section of the agenda. We will go ahead and begin with Jack Fung, our EVP. He will be presenting on the CHEBNA conference and some takeaways from there. Jack, would you like me to open this for you, or do you
Yes,
want?
please. Thank you. Can you hear me? Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Great. So
Great.
I'll go ahead and open this. You have about 10 minutes at most, given that we have a few presentations.
Of course. Thank you. Yeah, I will be brief. Okay, great. Yeah. Um, Thank you. So I would just kind of quickly go through, and I would like to share. I recently attended the CHEBA conference last week in Sacramento. CHEBA stands for the California Higher Education Basic Needs Alliance Conference, and then I was there on Monday to Wednesday on behalf of GSA. It brought together nearly 900 students, community stakeholders, engagement partners, particularly around like basic needs from the UC, CSU, and California community college systems, addressing student insecurity and housing emergency aid and holistic well-being. And I guess, I attended a few workshops and sessions and I would just kind of like quickly talk about some of the key takeaways, besides of other things that I did when I was in Sacramento. So I think, first thing about kind of like a food insecurity and public benefits, uh, it's really important to, address the need to have predictable systems, and also the CalFresh outreach efforts. A lot of students, they're still struggling and having even internalized stigma who get enrolled in CalFresh. So we really have to centering students with lived experiences in that space, around like federal advocacy and funding opportunity, et cetera. So, we learn about like strategic engagement with policy, narrative driven advocacy. Really, you have to share the personalized stories with the policymaker more directly, and look for ways to have sustainable funding for emergency aid and basic needs program. And another key takeaway is really about campus county collaboration, individual UC campuses and their corresponding county. This is one of the bills that was passed and enforced last year, basically to create a liaison to help coordinate with campus basic needs centers. One of the bills, I supported during the last year, last legislative session, and this is really about strengthening the partnership to improve access to public benefits, but also reduce administrative barriers and address structural gaps affecting, graduate and professional international students, etc. But yeah, and also like I think it's very important. Another takeaway is to have cross-system and holistic services integrating like food, housing, childcare, mental health, and parent student support into equity centered programs. So besides attending the conference, every time when I'm in Sacramento, I like to make the most out of it. And so like the day before the day before this the conference day one, I did some targeted legislative advocacy and in the swing space I met with key legislators, Senator Perez, Assembly Member Salachi, even met with the member himself and Senator Assembly Member Gonzalez team, really to talk about our GSA priorities for this year, focusing on state investment in basic needs, grad student housing, professional and student workforce development, and it also met with UCOP, UC Office of President, and the UCLA Government Relations leadership to make sure we have some alignment of advocacy efforts for our students, and also laying the groundwork for the upcoming EVP Sacramento Advocacy Day next in 2 weeks, which I'm going to share a little bit later during my report. Yeah, but also, besides those legislative advocacy visits with the legislators and the UCOP, UCLA leadership, while I was in Sacramento, I also spoke at the California Essential Needs kickoff press conference alongside Assembly Member Mike Fong and also Republican Assembly Member as well. That really kind of like reflects the urgency of bipartisan support to help push for basic needs support for our students. And the key messaging in my remark at the press conference is really to include grad students in those basic needs investments and policy discussion, because we are often the one kind of being left out, and we are also talking about the housing support, right? Like when the governor sent out the proposal, the budget. To add 7,000 more beds for UC, we have to make sure there's specific language for UC graduate and parenting students in that proposal, something to be worked out with the legislature body through advocacy with UCOP and other stakeholders. But yeah, that's kind of like the brief executive summary of my experience there. And when you have time, you can read about it in more details and let me know if you have any questions. And basic needs is one of our highest priorities, definitely with the upcoming legislative advocacy in Sacramento, etc. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. So that's kind of my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you. With that, are we good to go back to the agenda? Okay. All right. Moving on to our next presentation. Do we have a representative from Regenesis Los Angeles with us, either in person or on Zoom? Zoom? Great.
Hello, yes, we are present.
Hi. Would you like to share your screen, or would you prefer that I run the
I'm
slide?
happy to share my screen. Thank you
Okay.
for asking. Please give me a moment to do so.
Okay. Permit me a moment.
Wonderful. Can everyone see my screen? Or is it not yet? Okay.
Okay, we can see your screen now.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Giselle Samia Dalili. I am a Los Angeles community member and UCLA alum, and I will be presenting on behalf of the Regenesis Los Angeles, a current sole organized and recognized student organization at the University of California, Los Angeles. For full clarity, I'm presenting as our students who currently work on our executive and financial teams are in class, and understandably, their priority shall be class. We're here today to request to be on the ballot for a referendum on the GSA to gain a student levy for our youth-led environmental change. For anyone who doesn't know, Regenesis is a chapter-based organization wherein we offer career and environmental support for youth. We believe that the future of our world is defined by youth, most notably the most impactful and influential youth, which are found at universities such as UCLA. So our mission is simple. We believe in empowering students as initiators of change in addressing today's social and environmental concerns, and we do so through local chapters, one of our more recent ones being Regenesis Los Angeles. We focus on comprehensive and practical initiatives that are thought of, designed, initiated, and then led forward by students. For example, at Regenesis Los Angeles, we offer hiking services as of right now and hope to expand to other services and long-term initiatives, which we'll discuss very, very soon. Our vision is also simple. It is to create an interconnected network that engages both the university community and wider communities to create environmental and community initiatives on the foundation of a just society and just sustainability. And we've already impacted the Westwood neighborhood. But in addition, given Regenesis's international network, we have offered careers for our past and current interns at UCLA to work with people on the East Coast, including at Columbia University, at Harvard's Kennedy School, as well as in Canada at the University of Toronto. We want to continue our impact and our work, and the way to do so right now is through our three focuses: zero waste, affordable and sustainable food, and health and well-being. We have found specific pockets within UCLA's administratively run and student-run services that have still not been met. services and needs that students have come to us with, and we want to fill these voids at UCLA. Specifically, we have come together to propose initiatives for a grocery cooperative, which would be a student-run market that brings local and sustainable food options directly to campus. In addition, we would offer a community kitchen. We've already collaborated with other similar initiatives on the undergraduate level, and are happy and excited to bring this to the graduate level through this community kitchen, which will offer a student-operated cafe with affordable meals and training to understand where our food comes from, why, and how. This community kitchen specifically has come to us from grad students who are currently getting their financial degrees, their MBAs, and are very, very very excited to work specifically in the finances of something as large as a kitchen. Last but not least, we have our borrowing center or our item library. This is a library style system where students can borrow items they need temporarily. For example, a deck of cards, tools, things that everyone should have but doesn't necessarily have or only use once or twice. We don't need to have extra trash in our landfills. We can just borrow it. And it offers this circular economics that's really interesting, a model that was worked on by our UCLA team. As you can see, at the center of all of our grassroots work is environmental education. We want to offer hands-on training to students at the UCLA campus, current grad students looking for long-term employment. And the first step, of course, is through these initiatives that they create. Second, ecological restoration. We organize and have already organized tree planting events with partners like local municipalities. We lead community cleanups in parks, ravines, and campus spaces. As we all know, California is a very interesting state, given how understandably restrictive its work is with its public spaces and its general green space. As a larger organization, we can offer and educate current UCLA students who really and truly want to engage with Southern California's green spaces, with our already existing network of municipalities and understanding of local law. Of course, with all of this, we're not only looking at the long term, but hoping to build community in the short term through events. We have worked on encouraging active lifestyles and getting outdoors, reducing waste in general in our simpler, smaller lives, and strengthening knowledge of nature and food. Again, we believe in circular economics, and that not only impacts our initiatives, but our staff members who will be grad students at UCLA, who are currently grad students at UCLA. This includes DIY creations, plant identification, cooking classes, life skills, but also general fun that everyone can enjoy. So how can meaningful change happen at a local level? Well, our model at Regenesis, which has time and time again proven to be both externally reliable and externally valid, is through student-led chapters. We have chapters at universities internationally, allowing young people to spearhead sustainability projects tailored to their local context. It is very, very, frankly, debilitating to think of all of the causes that we're interested in and want to work towards. Many of them are global, intersectional, multilateral issues. And to begin that sort of, change towards progress, Regenesis believes in looking locally first, so that we can have our UCLA students understand and take this microcosm of Los Angeles to the state, federal, and possibly international levels, if they are so interested to do so. This referendum, which we've already begun to do, has began in January of 2025, where we recruited UCLA student volunteers to aid in running this referendum campaign. We will provide training and guidance to volunteers on how to run a campaign. These volunteers will also be later staff members once we gain the referendum funding to afford to hire them. They've already engaged in campus outreach, classroom talks, social media efforts, and peer engagement as a part of our grassroots efforts to mobilize students and build long-term support for a successful referendum campaign. We are excited to build the confidence of UCLA students for the betterment of Los Angeles. So, as you can see, Regenesis, and specifically Regenesis Los Angeles, is very, very proud of addressing local challenges with practical solutions. Again, practical solutions that our UCLA students have come to us with and are interested in making progress towards. Our initiatives are designed to respond to specific community needs, and this ensures that solutions are practical, inclusive, and tailored to the unique environmental and social concerns of each community. We don't believe in a Band-Aid umbrella solution. Frankly, we don't think they exist. And we are excited to work on food insecurity issues as well as campus waste management to better our UCLA community and campus. Regenesis promotes collaboration through our network of student-led chapters and encourages partnerships between other local organizations and campus clubs, enabling the exchange of knowledge, resources, strategies to amplify our collective impact. We have already done this for the last year and a half and are excited to continue to do so. And this will become much easier with hired staff that will be UCLA grad students from all 19 of these schools within UCLA's grad community. Yeah. Of course, skill building and capacity development is vital. Regenesis promotes skill building and capacity development by offering a range of educational programs run by students for students with hands-on experiences designed to empower individuals, especially young BIPOC individuals, to engage in social and environmental advocacy. We hear it time and time again, but unfortunately it's true. This is a very, very difficult time sociopolitically, and we believe in intersectional communities coming together to understand how they're more or less impacted by specific social and environmental issues, and then finding the capacity to build and support them. You can feel free to contact us at any time. Our social media has been quite active for those who are following us. Otherwise, you can learn more on our website as well as emailing us at any time. I'm also open to any questions that you may have, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Yes, do we have any questions from those in attendance here at the forum today? We have one question.
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I have like a lot of questions actually. So I'm a little confused on a few things. So I was sent the proposal with like all the numbers on it. I don't know if it went to all the other councils, but so my point of clarity or confusion is, so are you asking for grad student funds? So like, are you, the funding mechanism says we propose a student levy of 12.6 US dollars per student per session. Is that per quarter?
Yes, it is. Our fee, as you can see, we already have an established budget that was created by UCLA students. We're happy to negotiate it if that's of interest.
Thank you. Also, I was reading through some of the jobs that are proposed. I don't know if it's maybe something that I missed, but is there any guarantee that there are going to be like grad student specific jobs on here? Because my fear is that the grad students put in this extra fund, but everything is going to go towards the undergrads because UCLA is very heavily around, supporting undergrads. No shade to the undergrads, but I think this year, specifically with some of the housing things that have been happening, it feels like UCLA grad students don't feel supported. So, can you reassure us that there is going to be some kind of grad specific jobs or even like decisions on a board? Like, how do we do that?
I truly appreciate your question. I also saw it via an email today, and we are proud to offer grad-specific jobs. Frankly, our team at our national chapter, Regenesis Los Angeles, are prioritizing graduate students, especially at UCLA, given how large scale we anticipate working at UCLA, right? A community kitchen, a borrowing center, we are going to need folks who are very, very competent in finance, in project management, in communications. Those are, frankly, those are positions that are going to require folks who already have their undergraduate degrees.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, because I think one of my biggest fears is that one, we put in all this money and it goes to the undergrads, or number two, and again, no offense to anybody outside of the UCLA campus, whatever, but like it's going to go to someone who graduated from like the University of Utah or something. And it's like, oh, so we're funding other people's jobs, but we don't get anything in return. And also, I think there's some questions in the comments.
Gabby, thank you so much. Absolutely. In full transparency, I actually began at Regenesis in a local chapter in Canada. I worked there in my undergrad as an unpaid intern, went through this entire process that I'm currently going through now of advocating for a student levy. And then once the student levy came, I was employed by them. Now, as a graduate student, I was employed by them and am now coming back and I'm working on the national level and now local level with Los Angeles towards this. So believe you me, we are truly interested in long-term support of the students at their specific campuses. What's it called? I promise you, we're happy to put this in our proposal. We are interested in employing students who are current UCLA students or UCLA alumni. Frankly, it only makes sense. They're the folks who understand the meteorology as well as the environmental impact of that region. As for the questions in the chat, is there a proposed location for the grocery cooperative and community kitchen? We have already talked to two student organizations that we have collabed with about rental spaces. However, we have not made any solid plans, given that we first need to ensure that we have the funds to do so. And in addition, want to be respectful and responsible with the spaces at UCLA. While UCLA is a large campus, it is quite limitative inherently. And so we have a couple of planned operations. How does the community kitchen differ from the UCLA teaching kitchen? That is a wonderful question. We are so glad that someone brought this up. We love the teaching kitchen at UCLA. It's one of the things we brought up in our proposal. And I want to specifically discuss what we talked about in the teaching in our proposal, as I believe it outlines it quite well. So the program would actually utilize the teaching kitchen in UCLA, specifically the UCLA Recreation Fitwell Complex, as a curriculum integration, workshops, and volunteer training. So it'll work hand in hand. As something that we've heard from folks within the teaching kitchen is that they want more, and we're able to offer more. There are natural inherent limitations to these sorts of pedagogical resources, even at UCLA. And we want to collaborate with the teaching kitchen to offer more spaces for more students to learn. But in addition, excuse me, the community kitchen will not only be an educational resource on cooking and other quote unquote home economics, as we've called it 30 years ago, but it'll also be an opportunity to understand sort of the intersectional impact of cooking, the political impact of cooking, the sociological impact of cooking. We want environmental scientists. We want specific folks, as I said, meteorologists to help students understand what is Southern California going to look like? What produce, as the state that offers 90% of the lettuce to the rest of the US, what is that going to look like in the future? When we're chopping lettuce, we want us to be mindful of what we're chopping, what we're consuming, and how.
Okay, so in the interest of time, I would ask that the next question be the last so we can continue to move on.
I see two questions from Gabby. Gabby, is there one specifically that you would like for the last one?
I know I have so many concerns because I think, and this is the last thing, and then maybe I can like propose that we maybe table this because I also know that the Social Sciences Council got this email maybe like a couple days ago, and that just was not enough time to talk to the other departments. But I guess the most important one for me is like, what does this mean that something like a 580 cafe does not meet, or like the other organization that we had and maybe that one was like more clothes and like toiletries. But they also came to us earlier in the year. Like, how does that differ from this? Like the 580 also does internships. The 580 also provides hot food pantries. How does that differ?
Absolutely. We've seen a good number of resources that offer hot meals. The 580 Cafe at the Wesley Foundation serving UCLA is one of them. We see them offering lunches mainly, not breakfast or dinner. We're here to fill voids. We're not here to be redundant. We're happy to solely offer breakfast and dinner. In addition, we are happy to offer specific select or what's it called? Religiously or dietarily conscious resources, as that's been a concern that some folks have come to us. As for other sort of borrowing resources, we found those to more be a free store model, wherein you can't borrow a lot of these toiletries, you can't bring them back. We're interested in offering these sort of circular resources. People don't need a hammer every single day, you know? So you rent it out for a couple days, put it back. We've also had consignment models, but have seen that UCLA seems to already offer them. So we have not come in with those. Again, we're not here to be redundant. We're here to offer services to our graduate students.
Okay. I noticed Naomi raised her hand. I don't know if she's available to say something.
Yeah, okay. Pleasure to meet y'all. I've been in correspondence with some of the folks in Genesis regarding this. Unfortunately, I know a lot of folks are just kind of receiving this information now. And just thinking through the process of the referendum, I know that it has to be, again, voted on by forum members as well to get onto the ballot. But there are other steps as well that unfortunately are just now being communicated about getting approved by this administration. And that's just due to the fact that referendum a lot of times have to be housed by departments, right, at UCLA. And so in thinking about this, I just don't know how far the conversation's gotten. I know you talked a little bit earlier how some of the advocacy started last year for this. Unfortunately, this is just something that hasn't come to my attention, and I didn't know this was a project that y'all have been working on. I know even today we're going to have some presentations on the other things that are kind of in line, food security wise, that other folks have been coming to our council and council members with. So I don't want to dim the shine on it, but I definitely, I don't know where this would fit. Okay, that's just my concern that I have regarding the process, and yeah, just who's going to be running the things that are involved in this proposal, especially with $12 is a lot, a lot of money per quarter for a lot of people. I even think back to just there was one time on the undergrad level we wanted to increase by $3 and people were up in arms. So I I just yeah, I have a lot of concerns, like other folks that have expressed here. It's no fault of you all that things weren't communicated properly about going about this, but it's kind of where we're at this point in time. And so definitely, I think we should be tabling till next time, and so we can get some of these addressed.
Thank you, Naomi. Yes, I also am in agreement. I think there are a lot of administrative sort of back end things that need to be handled before we move forward. And I think continuing to have these conversations will be productive, but we also want to make sure that we are all on the same page as multiple councils that will all be paying, would be potentially paying to help support an initiative like Regenesis. So. With that, I do want to say thank you so much. This has been lovely, and I'm excited to see how things progress as time moves on. I don't believe a referendum vote would be in order today, especially because I don't think I have myself have received official language to be put on the agenda at this moment. But thank you again for your time, and with that, we will go ahead and move on to the remaining portion of our agenda. Okay, so I will go ahead and share my screen again. Okay, so now we will go ahead and receive a presentation from our elections director, Kamia Kamal, if she is present, either in person or on Zoom.
Hi Jay, I'm on Zoom. Thank you.
Would you like me to open the link, or are you okay with sharing your screen?
I can share my screen.
Okay.
All right, can everyone see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So hi everybody, my name is Kimia Kamal. I'm the elections commissioner for GSA for this cycle. And applications are coming up. We are going to have vacant positions for all four officer positions at GSA for president, vice president internal affairs, vice president external affairs, as well as vice president academic affairs. So I have put together an elections calendar to go over with you today. The application is ready and will be open after we go through this calendar and it's approved by the forum today. So if you are interested in applying or know anybody who is interested in applying to these roles, especially councils, please, we need you to spread the elections with your members, and we need as much engagement as possible in these elections. So them being open today. Uh, Candidates have until March 31st to fill these applications and apply to the officer positions. Um, and the referenda application deadlines are also, they will be listed on the application itself. And so you can get that information from the application as well. And for the applicants, once they apply and we have confirmed their eligibility, there is a mandatory candidate and campaign orientation meeting on the same day as the deadline of the candidacy applications. It will be at 7 to 9 p.m. And lastly, our actual elections will take place from April 21st to April 27th. So we just got approval that those dates are available for our elections, and they are set. So as we get closer to that, we're gonna bring up strategies to maximize against student engagement and voting. Grad students, historically, they haven't been the most involved when it comes to student elections. So any input from you guys, anything you think we could do better this year around, any feedback you have for me would be highly appreciated. We would like to get, as much engagement as possible. And then lastly, there is a 24-hour window after the applications and for people to submit any grievances. And then once that 24 hours is done, the elections board will convene and will approve the final results of the application. With that, I have mentioned the election board. We do need each of the councils and student interest boards to submit one person as their representative to serve on the elections board. And I kindly ask all the councils and student interest boards to select their representatives by next week. So the deadline would be Thursday, February 26th at noon. I have provided a QR code here. All the councils can either scan this and it will bring up a Google form for you to select the name of your elections board representative. Or if you don't want to use the Google form, you could just send the representative's name and email to my email at elections@gsa.asucla.ucla.edu. So a quick introduction about what the election board will doing. They will essentially be working with me to ensure fair and open elections. They will help with spreading the word, getting maximum engagement from the student body, and they will also be present in the meetings with candidates to go through the orientation as well as just approve the final results and go through any grievances. The total time commitment for for each election board representative won't be more than 5 hours per the whole cycle. So it's not very time consuming. It would just be a maximum of 3 meetings and a couple of emails. So with that said, I really, really appreciate if folks don't send their representatives later than the deadline that we've set, Thursday, February 26th at 12 p.m. And lastly, this is the QR code for the application. You could also get the application from me by sending me an email. Yeah, I'm gonna wait until we get confirmation of the calendar that we've set, and then after that, the application will be open for everybody to apply. That's it. If anybody has any questions, I'm here to answer.
Yes, I do have a quick question. And thank you, Kimia, for taking your time to inform us about the election season. As for the elections board, I know you were asking representatives from each council to be part of this. Is it required that they be like voting delegates, or can they just kind of reach out to people within their councils as a potential, volunteers for this opportunity?
Great question. Thank you, Jay. Yeah, and they can reach out to their members. They do not have to be voting delegates.
Okay, great. Do you have other questions from those present, either in person or on Zoom? We have Jonathan. Yes.
Hi, my name is Jonathan. I'm a professional staff with Student Government Services. I was just looking at the application itself and did notice a couple of deadlines on here regarding referenda that don't align with campus policy on referenda deadlines. So I would recommend either striking those entirely or adding that they're separate deadlines for the people that have already submitted referenda as those were due this week.
Right, yes. So I was just informed about the campus policies about referenda deadlines. I was just informed that those deadlines were today. So in previous years, we were doing the calendar differently. This year, apparently, the system has changed a little bit. So I will go ahead and update the calendar based on university deadlines. Um, I believe it would only be the deadline for referendum applications, which has been set to today. So I will go ahead and update that.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay. With that, thank you, Kimia, for your time, and we will be in communication about getting the election board set up, and I'll make sure to communicate that to councils as well.
Great, thank you so much, and please spread the word. Have your friends apply. The candidacy applications are due again March 31st. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thanks, Jay.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on. Now we have, I was informed by Naomi that we have no new appointments, so we'll just go ahead and move on to the officer reports. First, if we could have some information provided by the administrative representatives, if Jessica is present by chance. Oh, Jack, you have a question?
Yes, in terms of the appointment, yes, actually, I do have two newly hired directors
Oh,
in my
okay.
office. I updated the Excel sheet like a few days ago of that for the appointments.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Is the Director of Federal Relations and Director of State and Local Relations.
I see. Okay. Then in that case, since we do have new appointments, we will need a motion to vote on the appointments as presented. Yes,
I
Jonathan.
motion to vote.
Hi, Jack. These two people are just your staff members that you have the discretion and authority to hire as the elected representative. They're not campus committee appointments, so they won't require you to get form approval.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the clarification. We will go ahead and just move on then to office reports. Thank you for your patience. Okay. So we do have some information from the administrative representatives. If Jessica Alexander is present, I know she was the one that provided this information to me.
Hello, all. I'm on Zoom tonight. Let me just open this document. I wanted to join just in case if anybody had any questions and to kind of briefly review some constitutional amendments for you all that will need to go on your spring election ballot. So at your next forum meeting, you can vote to approve these. But essentially these are some of them are recommended changes from a consultant that we worked with who's very well versed in parliamentary procedure. So she looked at this document in regards to Robert's Rules of Order and other campus policies and regental policies. So some of these revisions with strike throughs basically just means we're taking them out. Anything that's additionally bolded aside from the article headers are additions to the Constitution. And some of them are clarifying, just clarifying that there are non-voting members of forum, for example, where it only stated voting delegates before, and just kind of making sure that the document is more aligned with different campus policies. So if anybody has specific questions, I'm happy to answer, but otherwise, you all can review this, and then if there's any feedback or comments, we can, make revisions up until your next forum meeting where you can vote to basically just put this on the ballot so that the student body can vote to approve these amendments.
All right. Any questions, concerns? Okay. If not, thank you, Jessica. I appreciate it. Okay, so we will go ahead and move on to the let's see, officer reports from the president. If Naomi is still available, I know she had other obligations at this moment.
Here. Sorry. Guys, I'm running between this award ceremony and then here. Okay, so as for updates, I don't really have much. The only key thing is that we hosted the Valentine's grad bar, really successful event. We had a little bit over 500 grad students come. So really great that folks were able to join. Great time for folks. Besides that, I have an ask that's in my my updates on my officer report. Graduate Professional Student Appreciation Week is coming up in the first week of spring quarter. For that week, I want to do as many collaboration events as possible with the different academic councils, especially if you have the financial means to do so. I know some folks have not spent anything thus far, so I would definitely want to help and plan things with you. If you need ideas, I have a bunch of them for different things that we can do that week to just show that we do appreciate and value grad students and professional students across the board. So I left my email in there. Please reach out. If you don't, if you're just interested, please just send me something. Just be like, yes, we want to do something. Because I want to get started planning on that early before we head out for winter quarter. But yeah, that's basically most things. The one thing I will say, I told y'all last time that we created the housing transition work group. They canceled the first meeting last week, so our first meeting is now next week. So I do apologize that I don't have more updates on that. My team and I, we are just finalized today a housing testimonial form, so we'll be sending that out shortly on the Instagram to just start gathering student stories and also what solutions that we want to see go forward. I want that specifically because I don't want to pretend that I know everything and know what grad students want, especially those that are being affected by the transition. And so I want to bring those actual stories to the work group as soon as we meet next week. So yeah, that's it for me, but feel free to email me anything, any questions you have, and I'm happy to answer.
Okay, thank you, Naomi. Much appreciated. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to my report. I have relatively little to say here. Let's see, week 7, winter. Yeah, so I wanted to also just briefly remind you guys about selecting representatives for the election board as presented by Kimia earlier. There is a bit more of a vested interest on my end about getting this, getting the election and getting participation and turnout. For this cycle, especially because we are making some pretty significant revisions and updates to the Constitution, which had not been touched essentially since the pandemic back in 2020. So ensuring that we get that participation and working with councils to do that, I will be also glad to provide my contribution however I can. Additionally, I'm doing my best to try to send out the agenda and create a list of the delegates and, provide those updates every couple weeks as needed. I do realize some people have put their Gmail accounts as their kind of delegate email, and sometimes that gets blocked. Not all the time, but it does get blocked. And so, thinking that there might be some sort of, spam or some nefarious background. I would recommend that if you are receiving things via your Gmail account or you're not receiving them, try moving to your ucla.edu email, and that might fix some of the issues that you might be seeing with receiving communications from me and from any of the other GSA, ASU, CLA accounts. There was something else I wanted to mention. I believe that's it for now. Should it come to mind, I'll go ahead and put in my report for the next week. Okay. So now we'll go ahead and move on to the VP of Academic Affairs, Satara. If she is present, do you have anything to report?
Yeah, do you mind sharing screen for me, Jay?
Yeah, no problem. Here you go.
Thank you. Okay, mine's also very brief. So first, just touching on that the GSRC, Jack, the EVP, and myself, we had a study jam this past. Oh, oh yeah. Okay, sorry. Let me restart. Okay, first, touching on the GWC Oversight Committee. This was with the GWC Director, Marilyn. And we had our first meeting this Tuesday on the 17th. And essentially just to give a recap of what this is being used for, it's essentially just used as an advisory committee to kind of gauge like the strengths, weaknesses, like opportunities, threats of the Graduate Writing Center and kind of helping them with their auditing report in a sense and helping them come up with different ways for them to improve and kind of things to focus on for the GWC itself. We currently have, I believe, 6 student council member representatives. So if anyone is still interested, if your council has not been represented, please reach out to me via email. We can still add you to our future meetings. And then moving on from there, the EVP Jack, myself, and the GSRC, we did have a study jam this past Thursday, or sorry, the previous week. And we had about a 30% turnout, so a pretty good turnout for the space that we had. And the next study jam will be on March 12th for finals. And this will be from 2 to 6 p.m. And we're just gonna have a lot of food and just beverages and just things for people to come out. So delegates, if you could spread this out to your councils and to everyone else, that would be great. And then lastly, oh, and then forgot to mention that there's also a hike happening tomorrow with a lot of the different student orgs, for example, BGSA, LGSA, First Gen Grad Student Council, and with EVP Jack, and that'll be an inner org hike on Saturday. If you all are interested at 9 a.m. And then the last thing I have to report is that there is myself, USAC Academic Affairs Commissioner, and with EVP Jack, we do want to have a shared governance session. And basically what we were planning to have for this is that we kind of want to share exactly what student governance is, how it affects students, and this will be someone in faculty essentially sharing what student shared governance is and eventually what is going to how it'll affect students. And this is going to be open for undergrad and graduate students. Tentatively, it is planned for the second week of spring. I just wanted to gauge like delegates' interest in this. Is this something that you would be interested in attending if you don't have experience with shared governance? You can just put in the chat or kind of just share out if this is something you would be interested in. If not, it's okay. I feel like it's something that's not very commonly talked about, but I did just want to gauge interest. But we will be giving more information on that once we do have the details finalized. But that's all for me.
Okay. Thank you so much, Satara. All right. And so now we will go ahead and move on to Jack and his report as Vice President of External Affairs. Would you like me to share my screen as well?
I can share. Thank
Okay.
you, Jonathan. Yeah, I would do a quick go through. Hold on. Sure. Okay, amazing. Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. Happy Lunar New Year. Just want to quickly go through things I've been working on, upcoming opportunity, etc. So, as I mentioned, I have two new directors now. Very exciting. And we're going to Sacramento in 2 weeks. I will be bringing 5 selected UCLA students to talk to advocate on student issues that impact our student community. In terms of UCLA relations, uh, I attended the William Institute Jazz Branching event, met with some philanthropists and external stakeholders who, really care about UCLA student and engagement in the community. During my meeting with Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, we talked about the Broom Fresh initiative update, referendum guidance, also the UC Presidential Fellowship for undocumented students that is about to sunset. We're going to talk more about it next Monday with Naomi, USAC president and the EVP during our meeting with Chancellor. Basically, that program is about to sunset, and we need to make sure that will continue to be funded. Also, talk about concerns around external political demonstrations that are exposing our students to harm through events that are being approved by UCLA, and also funding cuts to student affairs and potential efforts to customized Know Your Rights resource for background-based student programs. Yeah, and study jamming event, Satori already mentioned it. So I met with UCLA SGR executive director in Sacramento when I was there to talk about the UC Day in Sacramento in April. So stay tuned on that because UCLA leadership, they're very interested in bringing additional UCLA students to Sacramento to amplify the student voices, particularly in research space and how that could help our request to state investment for UC. So stay tuned on that. And recently spoke to Dale Bruin about the federal Grad Plus loan program ending and the implications for our students. Weekly meeting with LGBTQ Campus Resource Center, and also had launch meeting with David Bonet Foundation president to look for different ways to bring external money to support LGBTQ health research and other community engagement that could include our students. And yeah, so quickly going down to UCLA, UC relations. Yeah, the press conference I was talking about early, and the meeting with UCSA, UC Students Association, UC Graduate Professional Council, basic needs meeting. So I left all these kind of like resources and takeaways for y'all to look at it. We're currently asking the state legislature for $20 million on basic needs investment. And this is something that could be, utilized in our continued legislative advocacy efforts in Sacramento when we go there in Sacramento. And also, there are some other resources in terms of the policy advocacy talking points in basic needs. So if you're interested, take a look at it. And yeah, when I was in Sacramento, I met with, connected with UCOP SGR team, talking about this upcoming trip. Yeah, so the biweekly meeting with federal government relations team, a lot of updates, to be honest, and we talk about how we should continue advocating for STEM optional practical training program for international students. Currently there are a lot of internal discussion in the White House and particularly among the Republicans, and there's the potential to eliminate or restrict that program that would harm and access to opportunity for our international students. And I think another huge effort of our federal advocacy is really about professional degree reclassification, how that impacts of students' federal loan limits, and the UCOP, UC administration, UCLA campus leadership, they are fully on board with advocating for expansion of professional degrees, advocating for financial protection through higher loan limit, and it's something that is currently under attack by the federal government. And I will quickly go down. So yeah, the reason why I'm not there in person because we had our quarterly board meeting with UC President Milliken in Oakland today. We talk about range of issues, and the one thing is about professional student voices. Especially for students who are medical, who are professionally trained in medicine, dentistry, nursing, and how those degrees are currently being targeted by the federal government in terms of their federal loan limits. And we also talk about system-wide all these discriminatory demonstration from the Berkeley to UCLA, and how the UCOP and the individual campus leadership can continue to look for ways to improve event placement decisions in relevance to time, place, manner policies. There's also a survey that has been circulated around across the UC system. I'm sure like all of our students already got the email about the campus climate. They even increased the incentive for survey participation, but there are a lot of concerns around among students around like data privacy. Apparently, this survey was a 2024 settlement by the Biden administration, and because of the concerns around data privacy, and that would create a lot of barriers to future surveys, whether it's from the student government or from UCOP. So we talk about that as well. And we also looking to discussion around the UC Presidential Fellowship for our undocumented students. I think UC President Milliken, he's fully supportive of renewing this funding for this particular program, especially given the fact that access to on-campus employment among undocumented students is extremely continues to be limited. So this is usually one of the few ways for undocumented students to get that experimental learning opportunities on campus. And state and federal levels, and the SB 895. Just quickly to give you all a reminder. So basically, the bill is proposed by Senator Scott Winter, UCLA, entire system wide. They're in full support of this bill. Basically, we're asking for $23 billion to establish a California version of NIH here to support UC research. It's a research state bond bill, so it will have to go through the legislature, the governor, and the voters. So it's going to require a lot of cross-sector engagement to make sure that voters ultimately will approve this. But $23 billion is a huge ask. Probably and most likely the numbers will go down, but we have to keep pushing for that state investment in our UC research. And at the federal level, this is something, the UCGBC, where I serve as a voting board member representing UCLA. We have this ongoing federal government relations campaign highlighting the impacts on student research because of all these federal funding cuts, etc. And okay, so that's the kind of like a quick overview of what was being discussed this morning at the UCOP office. And at the state relations, yeah, so all of these were kind of like touched on during my special presentation around basic needs, around the Chiba conference. So you can read more about it. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, many thanks to Jack, Satara, Naomi, and the admin reps from ASUCLA for the officer reports. All right. Okay, we are almost done, everyone. We will go ahead and move on. So we have no old business, so we'll move on to the new business. We have some brief presentation provided by the ASUCLA Board of Directors on the gold referendum that is to be voted on by the forum. And would you like me to share my screen? Okay. I will run the slides for you then. Yeah, that's fine, as long as you use a mic.
Okay, are we good to start?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you for welcoming us to this GSA forum today. My name is Marhawi Tesfai. I'm one of the, and you are? My name is Enes. And we are two of your grad student reps on the ASUCLA Board of Directors. I'm a PhD student at the Luskin School of Public Affairs and Social Welfare.
I'm a PhD candidate from the Mechanical Engineering Department in the robotics track.
So we're here to follow sort of the next step in the referendum process. So we've been discussing this over this past year about putting a fee proposal on the election this year. So we're going to just give you a brief overview of what we've been discussing. We've been at the point now, I think, where we've brought it before the chancellor, gone through UCOP approval on the language, talked with GSA leadership about this, and really just trying to give everybody a sense about this before we ask them to put it on the ballot. So this is going to be a fee that's dedicated to graduate and professional students in particular. It's going to total $13 per quarter beginning this fall, and 25% of it will be returned to aid in the form of fellowships, traineeships, assistantships, work study, and need-based aid. Thank you. So some of the reasons that we envisioned this proposal really was just the rising costs that are associated with being a graduate student right now. So rising conference and research costs, publication professional development expenses, just limited centralized scholarly funding overall. I think we've all seen how funding has been precarious right now in the university system, California especially. And so there's really a need for coordinated graduate transition, engagement, community building, and then the sustainability of essential graduate serving spaces here. So ASUCLA does a lot around that area and really trying to be mindful that every year our resources are not keeping up with inflation. There's a lot more demands on what we're able to do specifically for graduate students. And so that's really the heart of why we're doing this.
Yeah. And so through listening sessions, meeting with GSA, and talking to grad students, we came on these three programs that we would like to fund through this referendum. First, we have the Graduate Scholarly Fund. So of the $13 per quarter, $5 will go to that fund. Then we have the Student Support Services and Spaces. $5 would go to that. And $3 would go to the engagement and transition programs. And we'll talk a bit more about each one individually in the next coming slides. So for each one of the programs, these are the projected numbers that we would have for each program. So we would have $171,000 for the Graduate Scholarly Activities Fund. We would have 102,000 for the Graduate Engagement and Transitions Program. And then we would have 171,000 for the Student Support Services and Spaces, and this would be per academic year. Now, 25%, these are the numbers that go directly to the program, but separately 25% go to financial aid for grad students, which we'll be talking a little bit more what that means for us. And so first, we have the Graduate Scholarly Activities Fund. So this would be on an application basis. This would go through GSA from their academic affairs department. They will be able to give reimbursements for conference attendance, travel support, research presentations, publication fees, professional development opportunities, uh, all for, of course, graduate students. So to put in perspective, for example, I went to an IEEE conference, and after my paper was accepted, I had to pay for a full conference a fee of $500. Additionally, because they allow 2 extra pages to be submitted, and I took that opportunity, I had to pay $200 per extra page. And so that's another $400 on top of that. And then, of course, you have to pay for the flight ticket to wherever the conference is, any travel costs along the way. And if you're within a lab like my own that no longer has any funding, this cost adds up. And then, of course, as a PhD from my department, usually expectation is at least 3 first author publications before your PhD. So this will get very costly very fast. And so this is geared towards trying to alleviate these stresses, especially with the lack of funding for graduate students.
All right. So in regards to student support services, right, we're really talking about how do we not just preserve our operations in a lot of the student serving spaces, but how do we increase that access and do more in terms of essential services, and engagement opportunities. So everybody knows we have Ackerman Union, Kirkhoff Hall, North Campus Student Center, Court of Science Student Campus Center. Those are a lot of spaces that ASUCLA provides operations in, and as well as specific spaces for graduate students, right? So we have a bunch of offices here, GSA, we have GSRC even, I believe in Student Activity Center. It's really thinking about what are the existing spaces that we have for graduate students. And as we think about whether that's at the GSA level or individual student, graduate student groups and members, when they are bringing ideas to us, when they are seeking funding, seeking spaces, seeking the ability for students to really put on activities and coordinate sort of services that they don't feel are happening currently, that's part of what this funding would go to. So it's not just maintaining the current spaces that we have, but expanding that based on the needs that our graduate student community are bringing to us. So 25%, like we said, is really going to be allocated, I believe, going through grad division and then going towards fellowships, traineeships. So one of the things we want to be mindful of, right, that a lot of our graduate student members might already have TA-ships, might have GSR positions and other things. This would help actually provide more of those opportunities for students that currently don't have those. And you know, a lot of times it might be through your department that you're getting a TA-ship in particular or something else. This would really seek to supplement the funds that we already have that students get their employment from. So CPI adjustment is going to begin fall of 2027, so 1 year later. And then this is dedicated specifically to graduate professional students. And when we talk about subject to oversight and reporting, I think it's important for us to note that, so I believe this is going to be administered through Student Government Accounting, which is the Department of Student Union, and then reporting to the Student Majority Board of Directors at ASUCLA. And then we'll do quarterly reporting to the GSA and the forum as we go along as well. Oh yeah, so there was actually one more part I think we didn't have on the slides, which was, so of the 3 buckets of funding that we have, the third one was $3 for graduate engagement and transition program support. So that includes things like orientation programs, community building initiatives, professional development workshops, and then especially at orientation times, navigating resources that aid graduate and professional students throughout their time at UCLA. I think it's important for us to be mindful that a lot of times graduate students might come into the university, come into their department, and not know about a lot of the opportunities and services that are available to them, whether they're on campus or off. And so I believe for the orientation programs, in particular, we're going to be working with the GSRC to carry those out and supplement what they're doing already.
Is that everything? Okay.
I think that's everything. Yes, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to present on this referendum. Do we have any questions from those on Zoom or present in person? Yes, we
I
have
have
a
a
question from
question.
in person.
Hello. Not so much a question, more like a comment on that last point. Just thinking about how to get graduate students engaged. Um, I know, like for our council, the Biological Sciences Council, I don't know of too many people who engage with the Graduate Student Resource Center. But as a council, we tried to provide some of those things that you were talking about to our constituents, so the other graduate students in our departments. So wondering if that could be a point to add here to work directly with the councils who are made up by those graduate students. Because I know that like orientation is going to look different for our different departments. So finding a way to make it more tailored for people from specific programs, working with the graduate student councils could also be a great way to do that.
That's great. Thank you.
And then just to further note on that, because my own program, we have our own orientation, but it's basically just very streamlined to this is what's expected of you. Go find which lab you're a part of. And it's very straightforward. It doesn't talk about anything about ASUCLA, anything else about campus, just this is what's expected of you. And so I would love to be able to have like representatives to come in and talk more about what's available on campus, communicate with the councils to be able to have those times scheduled and just to be able to have a better streamlined orientation for those new incoming grad students.
Excellent. Thank you. We have a question on Zoom from Representative Gabriella.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. I had a question about the 75% allocation to support. Can you speak more about that and how you came to those numbers?
The 75% allocation.
Yeah, so the 75% program support versus the 25% financial aid.
Yeah, so I believe that's a university. I think that all UCs, there's at least a 25% return to aid requirement.
So where would the program support, like what would the money, the other 75% of the money be used to do?
Oh, sure. So if we go to, I think our fifth slide, um, is it fourth?
No.
Yes. Okay. So on to the previous one, sorry.
Oh, this one?
Yes, right there. So right there we have the three categories we actually have broken down. So the Graduate Scholarly Activities Fund would be about 171,000 because that would be $5 multiplied by the number of students that we have. Graduate Engagement Transition Programs would be the $3 per quarter. That's 102,000 for the year. And then similarly, same thing for Student Support Services and Spaces, would be 171,000 for the year. So that's just based on the numbers that we have for each one. So 5, 5, and 3.
And just to further clarify, so the 75% is the three programs and the numbers listed. The other 25% would be the financial aid that is required by a university.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. That clarification helped me. Thank you.
All right. Do we have other questions or comments? We have something in the chat. Would this fee, if approved, be part of fee remission for GSR and TA positions?
Yes, it would. And I think that's a great point to mention that, for all of the students that do have fee remission through whatever position, GSR, TA, whatever else you have, this would be included in that.
Okay. All right. So then, thank you again for the presentation. What will happen here now is, so since you guys have gone through the proper channels and everything's been established, we would then just need to vote on adding this referendum to the ballot. We're not passing this. This requires the vote of the graduate student body, at least 10%, correct? And then as a clarification, do we need a majority vote or do we need a super majority just to get this added? Just a majority? Okay, great. So if there are no further questions or other comments that need to be made, we would need a motion to add the referendum to the ballot for this upcoming election.
I motion to add it to the ballot for the upcoming election.
Great. We have a motion. Do we have a second? All right, motion and seconded. All those in favor of passing this and adding the referendum to the ballot for the upcoming election, please raise your hand. All right, we have 5 in person, or sorry, 5 on Zoom. Okay, please lower your hands. Okay, those that are against adding this referendum to the upcoming election ballot, please indicate. We have 1 hand. All right, please lower your hand. And then those that wish to abstain, please indicate. To abstain in person. We have 3 online, so 5 abstain. Okay, so the numbers are, let me see.
It was 5-1-2?
5-1-5. 5, yeah, 5 and 5-4.
Yeah, your quorum is 21, so you'll need at least 21 people to vote. Correct?
I think it's a votes cast, right? It's just for any motion. Yeah, as a reminder from Jessica, this is not to pass the referendum. This is just to get it put on the ballot for the student body to vote on and decide. This requires the participation of the entire graduate student body. Yeah, we are currently conferring as to the numbers. We have, according to the attendance, we have 21 people present, but I have been counting in-person votes as well as the ones on Zoom. So in total, we only had 11 votes. So there are 10 people technically present at the meeting that have not yet registered. They would just have to abstain if that were the case, if they don't want to vote. But if they didn't, then do we just recall? I think recall a vote again. Okay. All right. Yes. So for those that are present as voting delegates, you can't just not vote. You have to either abstain or yes or no. So please, with that in mind, I'm going to recall for the vote just so that we have an appropriate number for this meeting. Other people are saying, well, Naomi's now asking, would people be more comfortable voting via ballot like a Google form? We would need some sort of we could push this. Okay, so then
I feel so bad, but I have to attend these, and these are during this. It's so funny.
yes, Jessica. Or
Got yelled at.
sorry, we have some.
Sorry, I just wanted to hop in really quick, just to give a little bit more context. So it's a formality of having your elections ballot built that Forum needs to vote to approve the items that appear on the ballot. So again, just to reiterate, you all do need to vote to place this on the ballot, but voting yes to place it on the ballot doesn't mean you support the referendum itself or don't support the referendum. You're just saying we're approving this to be on our spring ballot so the student body can vote on it. So that's going to be required of every single item that you're going to have, referendum or otherwise, even your constitutional amendments that are being proposed, you will have to vote on it affirmatively to have it be on your ballot. So this does need to have the vote of forum so that it can go forward with the elections.
And that would need to happen today, correct?
You can, since the extension has been given to week 9 to finalize your elections ballot, you should be able to vote on it week 9 if you prefer to do that. But yes, you can vote on it tonight since it's already on your agenda. Otherwise, you would need to vote at week 9 with your other items that plan to be on the spring ballot.
I see. If that's the case, if there is a desire to preserve anonymity, then someone could make a motion to push this back to week 9. If not, then if I don't hear any motions, then I'm going to go ahead and recall for another vote.
I will motion to push this to our next meeting.
Okay. And then if we have a motion, do we have a second?
I second that.
Okay, motioned and seconded. Those in favor of tabling this referendum vote to the next meeting, please indicate. We have 2 in person, 7 on Zoom. All right, please lower your hands. All right, those against tabling this to the next meeting, please indicate. Okay, we have 1. Please lower your hand. And then those that wish to abstain, please indicate. 1 abstain. Okay. That's a majority of votes cast. I think that's sufficient to table. Yeah.
Regardless, if you didn't have quorum, you would just automatically table it anyway.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, great. Then I guess are we doing this? Are we wanting to make this anonymous? An anonymous vote that would be dependent on what you guys determine as a quorum.
Do we need a motion for that? Like, can I motion to have it be anonymous at our next meeting?
Yes, yes. Please go ahead and make the motion.
I'm making a motion to make the gold referendum vote anonymous for our following meeting.
Okay, motion. Do we have a second?
I second that.
Motioned and seconded. Those in favor of making the vote for next meeting anonymous, please indicate. All right. Okay, and then so 2 in persons, please lower your hands. Those against making the vote anonymous, please indicate. Thank you. Please lower your hands. And then those that wish to abstain, please indicate. Okay. With that, with the majority of votes cast, that motion passes, and the vote for the gold referendum on the week 9 meeting shall be made anonymous. Okay. All right. Thank you for your patience. So with that, that concludes our agenda for tonight. We will need. Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, so if any of the councils that are present tonight would like to meet with our ASUCLA Board of Director representatives about this referendum, please reach out to them. Do you guys provide contact info on those slides? You can update those, and they're still shareable, like viewable on the agenda. So
we'll do that. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, and then yeah. Sorry, I'm receiving a message, so if I have. Um, okay, well, I guess, could we do that when they are put on the agenda? Okay, that's fine. All right. Then, with that, the agenda has been concluded. We would just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion to adjourn and second.
Second.
Okay, motion and seconded. Those in favor of adjourning, please indicate. That's 2 in person, 8 online. All right, please lower your hands. Those against adjourning, please indicate. And those that wish to abstain, please indicate. Okay, with that, the motion passes and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your time and patience. We will reconvene on week 9.